ready for another lesson?
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz, and on this week's episode, we'll be talking about the movie Disclosure Day. But of course, before we get to any of that, I'm joined today by not classified Nathaniel Gingrich.
What up? I'm coming out of my cage, and I'm no longer classified. Coming out of my cage, and I feel just fine.
Oh, got it. Okay. I was like, that was close to a song lyric, but not fully. And then it took me a second. Mr. Blindside, great song.
Mm-hmm.
Big Mizzou song.
I did not know that. I'm happy to know that.
Oh, yeah. That is like, I mean, Mr. Brightside, of course, well-known song. Played
club
at a
anthem.
lot of colleges. But it is a Mizzou anthem of sorts where after the chorus, you chant, fuck KU. Because those are our rivals. So yeah, big Mizzou song. So I've heard that and sung that plenty of times. Yeah, it's a good one.
Anyways,
the Killers though, very pro-Christian group.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are we humans or are we dancers, man? I thought that
they are evangelical Christians, man. That's what they are.
Jesus. All right. Well, that's fun.
Yeah, I mean,
they're called the Killers.
I remember looking into it or hearing about it at one point. I'm watching like a YouTube video on it or something like that, where it's like, yeah, that actually they are kind of prolifically religious and Catholic, I think, or at least Christian. And if you like look into some of their like lesser known music, it kind of comes out a little bit more than it does in their more popular songs.
Well, I don't even know how to take that. Maybe religion comes up in this movie at some point.
Yeah.
Bit of sizzle.
Also joining us today, it's Big Eye BlakeHolder.
What's going on?
We've got some big eyes in this movie.
There are.
Minor spoiler.
Spoiler, I guess. Yeah. I mean,
minor spoiler.
I guess. Yeah. I actually have some comments on that. I wish they kind of would have gone perhaps another route.
Ooh,
okay.
If you get what I'm at.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm with you. We can.
Yeah, let's jump into it, man. Let's jump into it.
Yeah, well, we don't have to waste any time. The only thing we will mention before we get into the review is that our gracious and friendly and lovely fourth host is obviously not joining us right now. He
R.I.P.
is on a work trip in Italy. I don't know where in Italy. Did he say? I don't remember.
Wasn't it a small town like northern Italy, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, he said he's flying. I think he said he's flying to Milan, maybe, and then driving.
I think it was
something. I know he said he had to drive a handful of hours.
Yeah, he had to drive 3 or 4 hours.
City of Ferrari, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, he's Wait, what did you say?
Said the city of Ferrari, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you broke up for a second. I thought you said something else.
But then I looked smug, so you had to circle back around on it, so I understand.
For a second. I was like, did I hear what he said? Okay, yeah, no, he is in the city of Ferrari. He's actually directly responsible for Lewis Hamilton's.
I had heard that. Yeah, they brought him in.
They did.
Said, get me Tyler Vidalis.
Yeah, they put him in the cockpit and dressed him up, and he won a race. Cool. So no Tyler. We're gonna proceed as if Tyler's gonna watch this movie, but I don't know if he is or not. But we're gonna act like he is gonna see this and we're gonna get his review and stuff. It's not going to be a bit of sizzle, but it kind of is a bit of sizzle because it's only 3 of us. But that's kind of going to be,
I was going to say, starting
a trend going forward.
Yeah.
So
get used to it, folks.
But anyway, let's get into the
start ranking stuff.
I was going to say,
we might. We honestly, yeah.
It's going to be this is going to be like the time skip era of an anime where like there's a different feel before and after.
Sure. Yeah, this is like we're entering like a Naruto Shippuden era.
Yeah, exactly.
Of Back Row Banter. Like you catch up on Naruto, and you might want to watch Naruto first, but like Shippuden, it's
when we
the
get
same, but it's
deep.
different. Yeah, it's when we get deep.
And then when it's just me and Blake, it's Boruto, obviously.
Of course. Of course. Anyway, welcome to the main review segment. Listeners, Nathaniel, if listener here is new, and maybe they've just forgotten, can you give them a rundown of how our review segment works?
What up, folks? If you're new or perhaps you've just forgotten the way the review segment works, here on Back Row Banter it is split into two sections. There's the non-spoiler segment, and then there's the spoiler segment. It's pretty self-explanatory. In the non-spoiler segment, we'll go over who wrote it, who directed it, who's in it, all that good stuff you can find on an IMDb page. We'll even decide if we like the IMDb summary. It's got to be a yes or no. There is no nuance on the internet. That also applies to if we like the movie itself. And if you don't want to have anything spoiled for you, you can check where the spoilers start in our show notes, because we'll go into big spoilery talks there. And then we're going to rank it up on our Entropy list. The time for when you can check back in to see where it ranks on our Entropy list will also be on our show notes. And yeah, with that being said, Adam, tell me about Disclosure Day.
I would love to, Nathaniel. This is a new movie, of course, directed by Mr. Steven Spielberg.
Some young kid.
Who we have the Fablemans on the podcast.
And Jurassic Park.
Is that
Do
the
we
only
have
joint
Jaws? Do we have Jaws on here yet?
Oh,
We do.
We do.
We definitely do.
We do have Jaws.
Got Jurassic Park.
Where's Jaws on the entry list?
Yeah, I'm tripping. We got Jaws and Jurassic Park.
And
Jurassic Park is, I don't think it's in the top 10. It was close. I guess
I don't want to talk about it. Because I'm pretty sure I put it number 1 or number 2.
I think you did. Rightfully so.
It is number
So we
8
have-
currently.
We have 3 of his movies, and this will be number 4, from my understanding.
I mean, I can pull the stats here since I pay
Jurassic
Oh, yeah,
Park for
yeah, yeah.
Letterboxd.
Jaws is 15. Granted, both of those are in S tier. Rightfully
Yeah.
so.
The
We have
Fablemans, I
4.
think-
We have West Side Story as well too, way down there.
Yeah, I forgot that Spielberg did that one. I
That's a
forget about that
good-looking movie though, as well too.
It is a good-looking movie. Not my
Yeah.
favorite movie.
Could
in
care less
general, but
about it.
It looks
but
great.
I'm just happy Spielberg's just like, hey, I'm just gonna do
Yeah.
this now, which may be a
Yeah.
trend as well too. You might hear me talk about in a bit, but bit of sizzle. Let's talk about Disclosure Day.
Yeah, The Fablemans was good as well.
Hmm.
Yes, Disclosure Day. It is directed by Mr. Steven Spielberg, written by David Coep.
I think it's Kep technically,
Kep?
or maybe
Yeah, Kep sounds right.
He's written a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Let's see.
Jurassic
World
Park.
Rebirth.
Ew.
He's got credits for Black Bag, which came out last year. I don't know if any of you guys saw that. It was a decent like spy.
All right, so
movie
if you
about
want
Presence from last year,
some
yeah, so
other
he's got
ones-
a lot of writing credits.
if you want
He
the
wrote
greatest hits, the
Zathura.
original Jurassic Park is him, as is original Mission Impossible.
Okay, there you go.
Yes, Zathura. The original Spider-Man 2002 is David
okay.
Kep.
We're pretty familiar with this man's work.
Toy Soldiers.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh no, that's not the one I was thinking of. I was thinking of, what is it? Small Toys or something like Small Soldiers. Different movie than the one I was thinking it was.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to what you were saying. Yeah, pretty good credits.
Yep. The story is by Steven Spielberg. The cast includes Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor, Colin Firth, Eve Hewson, Coleman Domingo, Wyatt Russell, and I'll leave it off at Henry Lloyd Hughes. You know, in terms of name reading for the cast, that's one of the easier episodes I've had in a long time. I feel like there's always like one name that just completely screws me up. I guess I kind of got screwed up on the Kep name, but like, man, it's always
We
just
did
a few
okay.
names that I'm just like, wow, I should have looked this up ahead of time. All right. The IMDb summary reads as follows. I forgot to go over a new movie, PG-13, runtime of 2 hours and 25 minutes, IMDb rating of 6.8 out of 10. We jumped over that bit a little bit. IMDb summary. If you found out we weren't alone, if someone showed you, proved it to you, would that frighten you? Okay.
Mm.
Not mad about it. I like that. It's a little, a little suspenseful. Doesn't tell you much about the movie, but like it kind of gives you the setup. That's the setup. The plot, between that summary and the name of the movie, you can guess. I mean, it's about the day we find out we're not alone, but also it's more the build up to that. So, there's
it's
lots to unpack
interesting.
here. There's lots to unpack here. Thoughts here, gentlemen? It's been a little bit since we've seen a new Steven Spielberg movie. I think Fableman's is the last one, so it's been not a frequent
Yeah.
movie maker. How are we feeling on this one?
I guess I'll kind of go first here.
Blake, do you believe in aliens?
I saw the film. I do, absolutely. To answer the question, I do 100%.
Yeah.
There's
Okay,
not
cool.
a single ounce of me that thinks that we're the only living fuckers out here in the universe, right?
Good. I think I'm assuming we're all in the same boat there.
Yeah, you would guess. As far as the film, my boy, caught it today, so I mean, haven't had the most time to digest it.
Okay.
That being said, though, dude, I don't like this movie.
Oof.
The reactions from you two seem like you two enjoy it. But yeah, this is one where I don't like it. I don't like it. Too long. I don't like. I guess we're not in spoilers, so I guess I can't say that. But yeah, it's. I'll chat way more in spoilers because there's certain things I don't want to ruin. But yeah, in short, I don't really care for it. Not my favorite alien design. The runtime is very lengthy. There's some decisions made by characters that I don't particularly enjoy. It's very there's pieces of this that are very kind of hokey, almost B movie-ish and cheesy. That's like kind of hard for me to get into, but I understand that's kind of Spielberg in certain essence. And it's just stuff like that I couldn't get over. I couldn't get over. And within an hour in, like there was a time with Jin May, I was like, I think I'd be fine if I didn't see the end of this movie. And I don't think I would care. I don't think I would ponder about what happened to the characters. Yeah, it was tough, man. This was actually a very tough one for me to get in and support. So I'll chat about it in spoilers. But there was once I figured out the type of movie this was, and this is me kind of speaking to you guys, not getting into spoilers, figured that out maybe about 30 minutes in. And then once I figured out that it was that type of alien film, within an hour, I was like, hey, you know what? If we're taking that path and we kind of have those themes in alien film, there's another movie that also has aliens that has some of this same discourse that I would just rather watch infinitely. And if that's the path we're going, take me out of this and I'll just turn that movie on right now.
Is that Arrival?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So once that hit me and we were about 45, 50 minutes in, and I was like, you know what, man, I know where she's going. I have an idea. If this is the type of alien film we're getting, just let me watch Arrival and I don't need to see the rest. So yeah, that's my stance. I'll let you two gents talk about it. Then we'll kind of deep dive into spoilers. But yeah, I am not high on this film at all. That's what I got for you. Looks like Nathaniel stepped away, brother. I'm gonna go ahead.
Yeah, I can pick it up. I hear you. And based on your like limited gripes with the movie, like I think kind of what you said is like I think pretty valid for the most part. I guess I didn't have many expectations going in and was kind of just on board in the sense that like man, I don't know. This is not spoilers, so I don't want to go into it too much, but the directing style just felt so classic to me. and the type of movie this is and the type of story it is.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
there's definitely choices, as you were saying, of like characters do dumb stuff and dumb stuff kind of happens, and like the character choices and all that stuff. And like there's definitely some scenes where it's like, okay, that's just so unrealistic to the point where it kind of breaks the illusion and immersion a little bit, where it's like I'm constantly thinking in this scene. And this is something I talked about it with my friends as we walked out, and more they had bigger issues of like, dude, this kind of thing would never happen or whatever. And to me, I was just like, this just feels like Spielberg. He's like, I want to make another movie about aliens, and I don't
Yeah, of
really
course.
like. I'm not gonna try to make it like the best thing ever. I want to make it feel like how it just felt very classic to me. Like, I don't know, the type of movie it was in the movie he was kind of going for. Like even the setup and of like the locations and like the title card or like the cards for it, and it's like, who do we have on the ground in Kansas City? It's just like,
Yeah.
and then cutting away. It's just like it just felt classic to me.
It
And so I
is.
really enjoyed it for that aspect. Is it the best story ever? Is it the best alien movie ever? No, I don't know how often, if ever, I'll really go back to this.
Mm.
Especially at 2.5 hours, it's like, oof, man. But like overall, like I was still enjoyed my time with it. Still had a good time in the theater. It's not my favorite movie by any stretch of the imagination, but like solid, and I'm not mad that I watched it. And it was pretty good overall. And yeah, just felt like vintage Spielberg a little bit. Not something we've seen. I mean, not that Fablemans or West Side Story or any of the other movies that Spielberg has released in the last 10 years were bad. They just didn't feel quite like this. This feels like we jumped back to Spielberg fresh off of Jaws or Jurassic Park or one of those movies, and now this is his big alien movie. To E.T. notwithstanding, but yeah, this just felt like he kind of jumped back to that time in his career a little bit, and I was really on board for that. Nathaniel, Nathaniel's mid bite here, Jen, so I'll fill for him, but he was nodding along in agreement, it seemed, as I was talking. So I'm assuming you're on a kind of a similar page here as probably our biggest Spielberg fan between Jurassic Park and Jaws. I mean, I can't imagine.
Spielberg's
I don't think
definitely.
any of us like him as much as you do.
Oh, I mean, he's definitely one of my guys. If we're gonna talk about DNA filmmakers, he might be the DNA filmmaker for me.
And for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely true. E.T., other one obviously being Close Encounters of a Third Kind as well, too. His other alien movie, we'll say. And I felt at certain points like this was I thought it might be a stealth sequel to Close Encounters in some ways, a la Split or Glass or whatever that was. But
I haven't seen Close Encounters, so I take that for what you will in terms of my explanation.
Yeah, I mean, again, just in that classic Spielberg run.
Yeah.
For me, this felt like a craftsman, an old school master craftsman kind of doing what he wants at this point, and not really worrying. Maybe more in like the Ridley Scott, Martin Scorsese realm, which I guess are his contemporaries in a lot of ways. But it is like, it feels this late era of his career is very much this, well, I'm going to do what I want to do and what I can do because I have the cachet and the ability to do this at this point. And I want to say I hear Blake's side of it. I understand where he's coming from. I think for me, again, as the maybe most Spielbergian coded member of the pod here, the stuff that makes him good is still good. Like the particularly the camera movement, the cause and effect action filmmaking, where like every bit of it is leading to the next scene, and in each next scene you're understanding what the character wants and why what is happening is complicating the situation for the character. Like, it is just that functional filmmaking to its core that I think feels very rare to see in a lot of ways nowadays, where movies feel very made by committee or made like things just happen because they need to happen. With that being said, I think this movie, I was on board for about 99% of it. And then last 10, 15 minutes or so, I was just kind of like, whoa, okay, this is where we're going with this. And I don't know if it sticks the landing. But I like how bizarre it is. I felt like when I was watching the movie, I was like, I think I know where this is going, and it's interesting that you've set it up this way. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm interested to see if you can pull it off. And I don't know where that will land on a rerun or a rewatch, if I'll do that. But I do think there was moments in this where I felt very moved. I felt like it was, this is Spielberg, and he's like, he's getting close to what I want out of it, or he's speaking to me in some ways, but it wasn't always the clearest message, maybe, to use a tortured metaphor there. But yeah, I'm positive. I saw this, I should say I walked basically out of this and then into the pod recording as well too. So I saw it earlier today. So I may be riding high.
So I've had some time.
Yeah, but
Today's Tuesday for context listeners.
Yeah, I think I'm a recommend.
I am as well. Doesn't sound like Blake is though.
Does not sound like Blake is.
No, I'm not a recommend. I'll probably challenge you two on this a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I see where the boys are coming from. But yeah, I'm gonna be a non-recommend.
Which is valid. Okay. Well, with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and head into spoilers. So if you've not seen Disclosure Day and don't want it spoiled for you, go ahead, check the episode description. We left a timestamp you can jump to where you'll be taken to the the movie's ranking up upon our Entropy list. We have a spoiler noise, Nathaniel. There it is.
Down.
I think I heard that come through.
Yeah, guys, this is one where like I legitimately contemplate, like, after the train scene, I think I was like, I don't think I care to see the rest of this movie at all, and I can get up and leave and be totally fine.
Yeah.
Where that's how I felt, dude. Like, and it was maybe within the probably first 30 minutes, right? We get introduced to the Emily Blunt character. She sees the cardinal. You have kind of the alien stuff. Then we have the other characters. What's his name? Not Hugo. Hugo's my boy.
Daniel Kellner.
Yes, thank you, Keltner. Once you kind of realize it's going to be kind of a cat and mouse game between Emily Blunt, Kellner, Hugo, and whatever the protagonist names is, because I don't even care to remember him, because he threw all of his fucking motives out the window in the past at the end. It's like the final scene of this and the ending of this, I didn't care for. To kind of keep it short and sweet, I'll kind of echo a little bit what I said earlier, because Nathaniel said near about maybe 30 minutes into this, once I realized what type of film this is going to be, and this is going to be an alien contact movie, right, with us kind of learning a language and being able to interpret kind of things they're saying, and it's not necessarily an invasion, like it's an action horror movie. And I was like, you know what, dude, like, just give me my next hour and a half back and just let me watch Arrival.
Sure.
Right. If this is where we're going, if where we're going is alien contact and there's a language that we're trying to decipher and it has memories involved and shit like that, give me Arrival. It's not 2.5 hours long. It's shot better. It looks better. There's better acting. It's a better story. I don't need to see the rest of this. And I think that just completely tainted my viewing experience of this, kind of post those thoughts.
I don't know if I would agree that Arrival shot better.
Really? I guess, dude. I don't know, man. I even caught this in
some
IMAX.
ways, yes. In some ways, no.
And
I think Denny V's got a gift for shot blocking and scale and kind of grandiosity there.
Yeah.
But I think Spielberg can kind of do that shit in his sleep. You're never gonna get Denny V to be able to move a camera with a person and then like get an entrance of Colin Firth showing up through a rainy door of a
Oh
car.
my god, my jaw
window.
dropped when that
Like,
happened. I was
that was
oh,
just-
I get
awesome.
what you're
that
saying.
shit's fucking
Yeah.
nuts. And like again, like
Yeah.
that's also part of the thing of like I think personally, I think Spielberg as a craftsman gets hidden by Spielberg as the blockbuster filmmaker
Sure.
in a lot of ways where
agreed.
like I think a lot of people have grown up with Spielberg's storytelling and they don't necessarily recognize how good he is at it because he's so iconic in some ways. But I understand what you're saying. I think a lot of this movie feels dated already.
Yeah, it's to what Adam is saying, and that's kind of some of the I guess you can say quote unquote cheesiness, right, or hokiness to it. It does feel like it's like a 90s 2000s movie,
Agreed.
right? From like the dialogue to the way things are shot to even the score in certain scenes.
Yep, the John Williams.
Right. So like
absolutely.
yeah. So
Yep.
like some of that is like that was interesting and obviously it's always like technically the film is good from a technical aspect. But it just to me, like I think where this film could have grabbed my attention is that there's a lot of they give a lot of hints of taking this alien invasion or I'm saying not invasion, alien contact,
Sure.
right? And understanding this language. And they're trying to draw parallels to religion. And that was one of the more fascinating things to me in the movie.
Sure.
Right? Was like, okay, well, if we do release this, if we do kind of release alien contact, does that begin to make people's faith?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Falter.
And it
Right.
yeah. And I feel like the movie takes it kind of raises that question and then doesn't really answer it. Like
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I feel like it could have gone that route. And I think that's a difficult route to go down. Not saying Spielberg's
interesting.
not capable of doing it.
Right.
But yes, that's a big question. That's a genre bending question, right? And I was like, oh, I wonder if they're going to take that path because, right, we have a character who was a nun.
Yeah.
And she's now left kind of that and kind of devout her faith elsewhere. We have segments specifically from Emily Blunt where she's like, hey, like, I don't want to be someone's religious figure.
Yeah.
We had people bowing down and kneeling to her when they find out she's had contact with aliens and she can kind of see things and be multiple places at once and bend reality. And I was kind of hoping they would essentially just kind of go all into like her being some sort of Jesus figure.
Yeah. Space
like,
Messiah.
I didn't think they'd do it, but it's like, oh, that'd be cool. They're kind of introducing this topic. And it seems like they just kind of took like the PG way out, quote unquote. It's like that was another one I didn't care for. And then there's some other things that just like continuity errors, man, that just like, I don't know if continuity is the right word, but like there's certain shit where it's like, I mean, well, how did they know how to build like her childhood house? And like, why didn't they just build the other guy's house?
Sure.
Like, we didn't even know she got contacted by the alien.
Yeah.
Until the Cardinal saw her. The other guy's been contacted by the aliens for fucking forever. And he's a cybersecurity breach. It's like that shit was kind of weird to me. The scene where they're at the farmhouse and he's like behind the fences was like,
yeah,
this
that
is
was the
rough.
glaring one that,
You
that
know what
the
I mean?
guys
Like,
coming out of the theater were like,
yeah, so
know,
little
that
stuff
was
like that,
bad.
man. But I don't want to go on it too hard. But those are things that I had a challenge to kind of get behind. But I'm gonna let you guys kind of speak your piece and share the things you guys enjoy about the film.
Well, I think for me, like when they did the car into the train bit and kind of like going through there, and that was really a moment in my brain where I was like, all right, I don't like, no way, like, is that realistic? But like,
Agreed.
we're into film territory. Like, I'm willing
Whatever.
to just go along with it. And I think for me, Spielberg is enough of a, I keep saying craftsman, but like genuinely, he knows how these things fit together. He has forgotten more about filmmaking than I will ever know. Like he starts this movie at a wrestling scene at a wrestling event from across the scene, and you are immediately like drawn into the movie. You're into an action. You don't know who's going on or who's who or what's going on, but the movie knows enough what it needs to tell you, and it knows what you need to know to go along with it. And for a movie that I went into very blind, I found myself enjoying so much of it and feeling like I am in the hands of someone who knows the story that they're telling to me, and that this will all come through in the end. And I think in the end, it gets pretty close. It definitely feels earnest in a way that is old-fashioned at this point. And then at the end, I felt like I left feeling like, damn, my talented film grandpa is still out there doing his damn thing, and I'm kind of happy that I got to enjoy that. And like, I don't look to Steven Spielberg to have his pulse on the culture anymore. I'm just happy that he's out there making weird shit into his 70s and 80s, you know? Like that's kind of where I come at it from at this point. And so I maybe it is my film, my love of film, and my what I grew up on because of Spielberg and all of that, but I found myself very pleased by the movie. Very not overwhelmed, not underwhelmed, just whelmed. I just had a good time.
Yeah, I would agree. It's like you said, Nathaniel. I don't need to see Steven Spielberg like push the boundaries of storytelling and filmmaking at this point. I think he's done enough of that, and I agree. Just very refreshed to just
it kind of feels like,
let's just go back to the basics. Like, I just want to do something really solid and like in a style I enjoy.
It feels like it is what he genuinely believes. Like, and in some ways, that's like I can watch that and it's like, oh, that's quaint. Like, that's like, I don't necessarily believe that anymore, but I'm glad that you do, Steven Spielberg. Like, I'm glad you're still there. Go ahead, Adam. I'm sorry.
Believe what are you referring to exactly?
I just mean, like, if you look at his filmography last 4 or 5 years, he goes like, what is it? Like West Side Story, or it's Ready Player One, West Side Story, Fableman's this.
Yeah.
And it very much feels like a filmmaker just not constrained anymore. And in this, I feel like the messages of like empathy being the best, or empathy being a higher evolution of culture and that side of things, and building that moment of like, wow, like there's a conversation between Coleman Domingo and Colin Firth, which is basically this movie's ethos laid out in front of it.
Somewhat of a climax too.
Yes, absolutely. Where they come as close as possible to naming the film's themes and ideas bluntly and straightly, right? And then it kind of pivots off of that. And yeah, I like, maybe it's the millennial in me, but like that is like I still do kind of get that. Like that still works for me. The idea, you know, that earnest message of building forward and trying to believe in it. Like, I think some of the most effective bits in this movie are when different members are seeing Emily Blunt as like what, and you're getting like the different character swap outs for what they're seeing at that moment and that kind of thing. I found that very effective emotionally in those moments. And then like there's little bits later on, like where where she grabs all the crayons, and like I had this moment where I was like, I know that smell. I know exactly what.
I said the same thing to the crayon shop.
So like I'm just like, man, that's 5-star stuff right there. Like that's the good shit overall. But yeah, I'm sorry, Adam. I'm talking all over you, and you're.
Oh no, you're fine. I wanna kind of just talk about like so the aliens themselves, and people kind of alluded to it too. You don't seem pleased that he went with the classic gray alien design.
Yeah, the gray big like bobblehead oval eye alien design, right? That's
Sure.
like the alien design we've all known since we were like in elementary school.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I agree with you, Adam. I didn't really care for that. I wish we could have got something a little more abstract.
Honestly, I didn't mind it.
Mm.
I agree with you. I'm always down to see abstract aliens, but we do see abstract aliens, I feel like, more now. And so, like, the fact that he was just like, no, fuck it. Like, no, like, we're going back to the
Sure.
classics. You know, that was another part of it where I was like, classic storytelling, classic movie. Like, he's
Yeah.
just going with the classic alien look, and he's playing this whole plot in to kind of existing lore of Roswell, New Mexico, of like, you know, kind of seems like Area 51 stuff, and like kind of building off of like existing UFO conspiracy.
Mm.
And so I kind of enjoyed that part of it. And another aspect of this movie that I guess that one of my friends was telling me about, who's a little bit more into like the UFO stuff than I am, there's like a lot of people who believe defense companies like Lockheed Martin and other ones are
Reverse
the real
engineering.
bastions of like this, you know, alien encounters and stuff like that. And so the fact that he wrote in Wardex as a separate entity from the US government that kind of works with the Defense Department, also pretty in line with like modern theories and stuff like that. So I do like that he was kind of pulling from those, you know, real life conspiracies and whatnot to kind of build his story around and make this feel a little bit more realistic in that front, because I think he wanted the messages that he wanted to get through play off better when the rest of the story kind of feels real. So then you think those messages definitely are easier to apply a little bit. So I like that part of it, and just I'm also just happy that he had the balls to like show us full frontal of alien, like an alien being, both through the videos, and seeing like, you know, how they sound and they can feel pain and like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we obviously see the alien at the end and just get a full shot of him too. I feel like a lot of movies like shy away from that stuff, or they tease it, or you see parts of the alien or like that kind of thing, and you're just like, eventually you get to the point where like, no, like you're gonna see everything.
So much of this movie is like you don't know what's going on technically. Like you have a pretty good idea, and like the marketing, I fuck the marketing on this movie. Like I'm glad I did not watch any of it basically, other than like basic shit. But like, yeah, the marketing in comparison to the way that the story is told narratively is so drastically different and so frustrating. And even then, like, again, when I say like this movie feels 5 years too late, because like it feels like we've already had the disclosure day and like no one really cared.
Right.
But where was I going with this originally? We were talking about what was the last thing you were talking about, Adam? I'm sorry.
Building the story around real life conspiracy.
Yes, and
stuff like that.
All of that feels very specifically chosen to like write into the story as well. And again, like the movie that's what I was saying. The movie is structured in a way that like, as a person who didn't watch any of the marketing and anything, like every kind of bit I was like, well, I felt like I kept getting drawn further and further into it based on what the characters were wanting and what was popping up as like obstacles in their path, and like kind of draw to each other, which again, like so many things I felt like, well, this is really old storytelling tropes or storytelling elements, but I'm interested to see where it goes. Like I want to know what the upshot is here. And then I think I said earlier that I liked 98% of this movie. I'm not sure that it fully lands it in the end, in that like I feel like the movie ends and I want to see 30 minutes more of what the fuck happens next, because that feels like some of the most interesting stuff, where so much of this movie is kind of focused on getting our two main characters together, and like that is compelling from a what happens next in this action sequence and like stunt wise point of view. I want to know what happens next in this world based off the information that the movie drops in the last 10-15 minutes. and then just kind of stops. And that was a little frustrating as a viewer, I feel like.
I agree. And as someone who I also didn't tune into much of the marketing, as I tried to avoid that as much as possible. But when you talk about the title of the movie being Disclosure Day, and then you have the marketing kind of leading up that way, and the way it's talked about is like, oh, this is the day everyone finds out. Well, it's not. It's the day leading up to it, essentially. You know what I mean? It's the day leading up to that moment. But like, I really thought at some point it was going to be either at the beginning or through the middle of it. Like it was going to be, oh, everyone finds out, and like this is the reaction.
Yes.
And I was thinking about that throughout the movie of like that's where I was trying in my head to like, how are we getting there? And eventually I was just like, oh, this is not. That's not.
And it kind of faints at that, like as Blake was talking about with like the religion side of things, and like, and it's almost in the first, I think, 20 minutes or so where he kind of, no, maybe it's longer than that, but like he shows Jane the videos, the evidence, right? And he's like, this is what changed me. And her reaction is immediately, well, what about religion? And what does this mean? Exactly. And again, that's really interesting stuff. Like that is,
and we can't
that
show this
is
to
fascinating.
Everybody.
And like, it even throws in like the human drama of like he and Emily Blunt seem drawn together and that kind of thing, and like there seems to be something else going on there. But it never really builds out. And like, on her romantic partner, he just kind of leaves because, fortunately, Wyatt Russell is just becoming the asshole that everyone loves to like. He seems like a very nice man, and like he just always seems to be cast in kind of the jerk boyfriend role overall. But I don't know. There's so many just strange things or strange choices that I felt compelled to keep watching. And and again, maybe a certain point of that was me being like, oh, it's Spielberg, I'm trusting kind of thing, and enjoying the ride. But I still think there's something to this. I don't know. And again, I say that fully acknowledging and understanding why Blake bounced off of it the way that he did. Because as soon as you brought up like, well, this is Arrival, I get that. I do.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because like Spielberg's my guy way before Denny V was, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
Like maybe it's part of
it's
that.
got the nostalgic factor to your point where like this is a 1998 film.
It really
came out
is
this year.
Yeah,
sure.
It really is. And like
that's shot to characters, the dialogue, to scores, everything we've talked about.
Yeah, and like I mean I kind of respect it for going for that in some ways too. Yeah, like I don't know. Weird movie. I think I'll be thinking about this for a while. I think it just does enough weird shit and like is some ways like a relic of a bygone era. I think I think it'll be divisive, but I also will not be surprised when like 50% of like critics have it on their like year-end top 10 list for some reason as well too. You know?
I mean, I hear what you guys are saying, and I don't know. And I apologize because I stepped away for a minute. I'm not sure if anyone brought this up, but a thing that I was trying to follow that I had difficulty doing was an interesting part of the film was the Colin Firth character when he has the, I don't know what we want to call it, the instrument, that he touches, and he can now essentially be in two places at once. Like at first, it seems like he can take over someone's body. And then after that, it seems like he can be in two places at once where he can hold a conversation with that person.
It reminded me of Possessor, the Brandon Cronenberg movie from a few years ago, which, we might need to get, maybe that'll be our Nathaniel and Blake's.
That's a good pull. So like that was very captivating to me as a viewer. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And kind of the way they get around it is like the Hugo character, basically, when they have their sit down that you're talking about, that just brings up all the themes of the movie. Excuse me. But the Hugo character is like, hey, like, it's like that instrument can do more than the human mind can comprehend. Like, you'll never know its full capabilities. But then, like, that's the easy out for, like, what the fuck can this thing do? Because at times it seems like you can take over someone's body and control them and possess them. At other times it seems like you can only manifest in a different location and
That's
interact with said
that's
person.
my favorite. Well, I don't know if it's the one bit you're talking about. It's my favorite bit of the whole movie, where Colin Firth has
Which piece?
used the instrument for a while, drops it, and then one of the second in command or whatever grabs it and just
yeah.
disappears.
Yeah.
And then comes back like 5 minutes or like 2 minutes later. I'm like, that's. And then it's never really brought up again. I mean, I guess maybe
Well,
Emily
he goes
Blunt.
invisible.
Well, so I guess
that's
that's the idea.
That's what they set up, is, yeah, he went invisible.
But like, I also like the idea that he just bamfed to like another universe.
For a second, I thought that's what happened.
And
but
I
he
was
just
just
got
like,
evaporated.
what?
Because at the beginning of the movie, and this is another function, is like he holds it up like it's a weapon, like he can just magically do
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah,
with it.
yeah.
So, but they never show like.
I guess
anything
it's
like
controlling
that
the
kind of power
electronics. Because like that, she kind of
maybe,
uses it
but-
like that later on, or like the power
Maybe-
kind of
maybe
surge.
it's just like a magic wand. You could do whatever the fuck you want.
Well, I
It's
think
like-
that's
But
it. Could
but
be part of it.
seems like
Seems like
if
it.
you, but it seems like if you, and I don't know if you know the language is the right term. That's like me drawing parallels to Arrival.
Mm.
But those who have been contacted, or I guess the actual verbiage the movie uses, what does he call them? They
Well, he says
experiencers or something like that.
yes, but what she said, like he can understand it, but she can understand humans, kind of thing. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he's been given the translation, while she's been given the ultra empathy side
Yeah.
of things to kind of try and bridge everything together.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know, man. There's stuff like that was like, I don't know. It's hard to follow. Great concepts though. Like
Yeah.
some of that stuff was like very creepy. Like
So
the
that was
body
one thing-
possession
that was
and
one
stuff
thing
like that. was
I
like, "Ooh, this is
really-
really good.
I really wanted to bring up where this movie is like there's so many scenes where like a different score in a different sound like editing would make it a
Yeah.
horror movie.
No, I agree. I agree.
Like,
particularly
definitely some
the
scenes.
possession stuff.
Yeah, like the possession
very
stuff,
creepy,
but
very
like
eerie.
even the like where like no one really knows. Yeah, that bit of like no one really knows who knows what, or like when someone is like in a different body and that kind of stuff. But even like then later on when like they're remembering and it's kind of like, oh, we remember when they gave us these gifts. That's a terrifying sequence in
Yeah.
some ways as well too, with like the fingers wrapping around the head and stuff like
the
that.
fucking probes
Yeah.
going
Yeah,
down to
and
your
he's
eye.
like he's
Yeah.
asking to hold on to her, and she's like, it's gonna be okay and stuff like all of that shit. Like if we give it the Saw music and like quick cuts from the 2000s is definitely a horror scene waiting to happen. It's just yeah, that's partially what I found very interesting about it, was how it kind of walked that line.
I definitely agree. There's definitely some scary bits scattered throughout. I am disappointed. And we keep jumping on and off of this topic, but he does tease the religious thing and just never
Yeah,
really commits
yeah.
to it.
And
I think that'd be so cool. And like this film
Yeah.
would tonally switch,
Yeah.
and like it would be so much more enjoyable for me, and perhaps be like, oh, this is one of my favorite interpretations of alien contact.
well, and even like he
Like,
kind of
how does it impact human civilization?
he kind of answers it, but he answers it in a really not basic, but like
Unsatisfying.
yeah, like, well, why wouldn't he have other stuff out there? Which again is interesting. That's an interesting concept on there. Like we have to expand our definition of God and not think of ourselves as higher as this
The
higher
only
plane, but
creation.
just like in a to like Blake's pointer, like the simulation, the experiment of human race, rather than like the evolution of humanity in some ways. And yeah, I do think that's interesting. I feel like it's
Yeah, man.
it's that thing of like he's got those as like a core idea, but for him the more impactful thing is the empathy thing. The more
Yeah, of
impactful
course.
thing is
Yeah.
recognize that these things are not other from you, they are the same, and that we need to at some point we lost sight of that, and that
Yeah.
seems to be the
Because
thing,
ultimately,
right?
to your point, like, yeah, that's more impact. It's also more palatable.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I think that's that takes it back to that 1998 2002 movie release. Is like that's the kind of story that would be told then.
And I mean, I want to give credit to like I think Emily Blunt does
She
a
does
really
kill
good
it, though.
job.
Yeah.
I
she's got a big
wanted to
role.
bring that up. I think she did really well in this movie, especially when she was like switching between languages and stuff like
Yes.
that. The clicking scene.
Well,
is
even
cool.
from like
she's
the
really good.
the start when you get her like crappy news anchor hosting bit at the start where Wyatt Russell, she's like, I want you to like look at my audition.
Right.
Yeah, is the word I'm looking for, not the other thing. And like her, like you can tell she's a person that is like professional and wants to do well, but just isn't good at it. And like that's like that level of nuance is very tough to capture. I feel like, you know.
Yeah.
I think she's great. And I think Josh O'Connor, you know, the last few years have proven he's got the goods on a lot of that stuff. It's a matter of time.
Love him in this.
You saw? Did you see?
I saw Challengers.
Yes, but the Knives Out. What was the Dead Man? Wake Dead Man?
No, I have not seen that one.
Okay, that's definitely one I think you need to check out for him on that one. Yeah, I think from that I think he's decent in this.
He's fine in this, but it's night and day of like the scenes between. I mean, when Emily Blunt's on screen, I'm locked in. When Coleman Domingo's on screen, I'm locked in. When Colin Firth's on screen, I'm locked in. And then when we get to him, I'm just like, I don't know if I care about the storyline. And part of that's probably like the Jane character. Like something about that wasn't clicking for me throughout the whole movie.
Sure.
And I don't know if it was the acting. I don't know if it was maybe just the
that's also
and stuff. But
three actors who've been doing it for a minute as well too,
100%.
compared to a guy that's
100%.
definitely broken out in the last 4 or 5 years, I would say. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Let's rank it. Or go ahead, Blake. I'm sorry.
I was saying, last question here. Were you guys okay with the what's the Collins character's name? The antagonist.
Noah Scanlon.
Noah?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. Name escapes me.
You're good.
Because I couldn't fucking stand his character. And the problem that I had with that is at the end, so he goes through all these hurdles, right? He's set out to be his antagonist. He's trying to put an end to his things. But one of the last things he's willing to do is let the human race be knowledgeable of alien contact, right? They get there. They shut down the power supply. They shut down the temporary power supply.
Yeah.
The girlfriend, I guess that what we call it, the girlfriend who was
Jane.
once a nun.
Jane.
Right? Jane, who is now kind of revoked her faith in XYZ. She kind of goes on her own mission at one point in time where you kind of forget what even happens to her. She happens to pop up at the end at the climax, of course, how we always do. And she hands one of these instruments that can alter reality.
Yeah.
That we've seen numerous people use. And at the time she hands it to Emily Blunt, she then uses that to kind of cut the power back on. And then like one of the, I don't know, I'm just going to call him like one of the henchmen, right? Of the antagonist.
The main one.
Dude.
Yeah, the second in command guy was following them on the train and whatnot. And he's like, hey, like, is anybody going to stop her? And then we just watched the antagonist just like, nope, and sit down and take a seat. And then I was like, get the fuck out of here. We've watched this guy chase these people down for the last 2.5 hours and like be so adamant.
I hear
not
you. I was
sharing any of this. And like, it's like, that was the final straw on the camel's back to me where I was like, I do not fucking like this movie at all. It's too jolly for me.
Yeah.
And some people always say I need bleak movies and things of that nature, but like this is too jolly for me, man. This guy has been gung-ho, taking possession of people, attempted to kill somebody else through another person, right? Sending out all these hits just to like actually be there right in front of the person. But you know what? I'm gonna let you go through with it. It was like
I viewed it as he knew he was beat at that point, like in that like it's the universe is against you, and like if you're out there seeing your dead wife's ghost show up and say shit to you
Sure.
that like
Yeah.
at that point you're rocked enough to just be like, well, okay, see what the fuck happens here and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think Domingo like kind of brings it up of like, you know, you were open to this, but then you shut yourself off because everything else changed, you know, your wife died and all that kind of stuff, whereas the henchman is much more never given that opportunity to be humanized. So I think, and again, I think that's hearkening back to Spielbergian sense of the world, where the villain is in some ways a monster that is of his own creation, not evil for the sake of evil. But yeah, I for me, that's again just like, to your point, it is a movie from 1998, not 2026, and that's a 1998 villain action at that point to recognize I've been beaten and there is something grander at stake here. Oh no.
Yeah. That's valid,
I hear you
man.
though, Blake. It was kind of funny in the way it happens, but I also agree with Nathaniel, where it's just like, I don't know. At that point in the movie, I had to just resign myself to like Spielberg's gonna do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, again, after his arm did not get wrenched out of the socket by holding on to her while another train goes by, because I've fucking been on a train. When another train goes by, it feels like a hurricane.
Yeah, the wind tunnel. Alone, which is like suck you straight
100%. Yeah, you're not holding on to anyone through that. They are getting sucked under the tracks and bisected brutally. But yeah,
another another part of the ending there when he does give up was just like the way he strolled into the room. It was just like it was the pinnacle of what we were talking about, of like just a kind of classic movie villain kind of thing of like, cut the power once, cut it twice, the second it's cut the second time, door slams wide open, main villain walks in surrounded by his henchmen. It was just like, oh, this is kind of fun. Like this, that was like
I see what you're saying.
Gang in West Side Story.
There is that, like, that Spielberg, like, man, no one knows interests by like my boy kind of thing.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. This is kind of shits and giggles. So this is the last one to wrap up. How do you think humanity takes that if what portrayed at the end of this movie happened in real life? At what point do you think motherfuckers are like, like, we think the government's lying to us?
Okay,
so, that's going to be
but
a
that's
lot
an interesting
people, right?
thing.
It's like, this is bullshit, dude. It's not real.
It's an interesting thing that we really haven't talked about in this movie yet. That like the world in this movie is like on the brink of conflict already.
Yeah, what is it, World War III?
Yeah, they're like people. Right? Every time we get to the news, it's like Russia is massing troops here, North Korea is saying stuff here, and like the idea is that they're releasing this in a world that is already on the edge of conflict and is very much in the kind of like national thing. And like, I guess that's partially also what's weird about this movie to me too, is like, as I said earlier, I feel like we already had a disclosure day. There was that bit 2 years ago or whatever when the U.S. government's like, here's all the UFO tapes. And like, it was not a big ring in the sky sucking people up kind of thing. It was like, here's a random dot on a video that's grainy as shit and watch it zoom across the sky. And like, no one really cared. And so even that like feels fanciful for the world to be like, yes, here it is.
I think it'll be a little bit different when it's like, oh, here are the aliens themselves. Like we've captured the biologics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But to Blake's point,
different.
Like I think even nowadays that like half the world would be like, AI. Like who's on the board of directors? Meta
would be like, that's not real for sure.
Yeah.
Eventually it would be proven, but yeah, it was also like funny. Another thing my friends and I were talking about, it was funny to see a director who's definitely older and kind of portrays the media as something you can trust. And like,
exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
That's kind of the core of my question, right? It's like, I don't know anybody who like trusts the fucking
it's like, of course we're
well.
gonna broadcast this on the local news in Kansas City and
pick it up in New York, pick it up in BBC, pick it up in Air France.
It doesn't matter what you're talking about, World War III, whatever. Like, no, cancel. It's like, I could never.
It's nice to think that something would push.
Could happen. That's probably how it should happen. That's probably how it happened once upon a time. But we live in a different world.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's get this ranked and up on our Entropy list. Welcome back, listeners who skipped over the spoiler segment of the podcast. We're going to go ahead and throw up Disclosure Day up upon our Entropy list. Subject to change depending if Tyler sees this and ranks it, but otherwise it's going to go up with just the 3 of our rankings. For those of you who do not know, the Entropy list is Back Row Banter's official list of all the movies we have reviewed on the podcast, regardless of genre, regardless of anything else, all on one fantastic list compared and ranked against one another. It's essentially how we rate our movies rather than do out of 5 stars out of 10, whatever it is. We throw up all the movies in a list and see how they compare to one another and see how they compare within tiers. As now, once a movie is ranked, it will get slotted into one of 7 tiers, starting at our S tier and going all the way down to the money laundering tier, where a movie is so bad you have to wonder if it was made to launder money. If you want to reference the Letterboxd list or the Entropy list, or sorry, tier list, both are linked in the episode description.
Hey, do you guys know that Warfare is ranked above Sinners?
Hell yeah.
So I've actually rewatched Warfare since it released. I have not rewatched Sinners. Granted, what's Warfare got another year on Sinners, right? About?
No, they're both
No,
last
it's
year.
Both last year.
They're both 25?
Yeah, Sinners was maybe March.
Oh, I'm thinking Civil War. I'm thinking Civil
Warfare.
War.
Civil War.
Warfare's
Yeah. See, Civil War, I would actually go back and watch. I would 100% check out Civil War again. Warfare can get fucked.
Yeah, I get those confused. Yeah, I watched Civil War probably the past 2 months. Warfare, have not seen again.
Haven't thought about it. Piece
Crazy
of shit
viewing
film.
experience, though, man. I'm not gonna lie.
It was a crazy viewing experience.
Crazy
We saw that
viewing
together, Blake.
Oh, we did. Yeah,
Papa
yeah.
Holder.
Yeah, my dad. Yeah. You're right.
Not a movie.
Yeah, Nathaniel fucking hated that movie, dude.
I
That
know.
shit was. That was a great viewing experience, man. In Dolby. That was some
as
shit.
Super
we
love
saw it
that
IMAX.
Army recruiting ad.
Either way, I think if anything, that convinced me more than anything that I would never want to join the military. But
Yeah, right.
Fair.
I get it. I get the criticism you have. We don't have to hash this out much longer. But yeah, no, you're not wrong. There's not a story plot and character development. Like, it's not that type of movie. It's a war experience.
I agree.
But I think it's a very good one.
And I agree too. To be above Sinners is probably a little egregious.
Yeah,
I would probably agree.
We could
with
probably
that.
tone that one down a little bit. Yeah. That warfare. Could
That
probably
being
skip.
said,
Yeah, this one.
Anyway,
though.
Disclosure Day.
So,
dude, I'm not gonna lie, you guys might hate me.
I weirdly went to Superman, a movie that I think kind of has some.
What's at the top of A tier, right?
Well, I was looking at it from an earnestness perspective, that kind of this movie was made in the 90s and wants to believe in a little bit more positive side of humanity that I don't think the social media age is necessarily vibing with. And I don't think it's as good as Superman. But that being said, there's a lot around it that I think it might be kind of in a similar tier with. I think I'm going to go 122. Below The Long Walk, above Nightmare Alley. For context,
Nightmare Alley is that high? How the fuck?
Nightmare Alley is a good movie.
Yeah.
I will stand on 10
think
toes
Nathaniel's
for
the reason
Nightmare
that one's up
Alley.
there.
I think you guys are forgetting that movie. I think if you watch that movie, you'd be like, "Damn,
That's Del Toro, isn't it?
Yeah, it is."
Yeah, I thought.
I think people would think it's a good movie though. But that being said, Frankenstein's 120. I think this is better than Nightmare Alley. I don't know if I'm going to have it in the same tier as Frankenstein, but for context,
Well, you are going to have it in the same tier as Frankenstein. Both in the A tier.
Personal tier. For context around that, it's Long Walk, Field of Dreams, District 9, Paid Full, Project Hail Mary. We got 28 weeks below that, Field of Dreams. I think I said that already, but Blade and Frozen 2 as well. It's not quite that next level up, but still a good director working on let's say the back half of his career.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, looking around. I mean, the Notebook kills me at 169. I already moved it up once, I think, already. But
You think it should be
I think I
higher
should've moved it
still?
up higher. I don't know. I just like maybe. I really like that movie. This is tough. I'm a little bit lower than you, Nathaniel. Blake, did you have a spot?
fair.
You can go while I finish thinking mine over. I kind of know the area I'm going.
I'm kind of browsing. I hear where Nathaniel's at, and honestly, you guys can name me like immediately. I went to like. It's gonna sound crazy. Immediately, I went to like, okay, where's a movie that I objectively think is pretty good that's ranked way too low? And honestly, I went to Wonder Woman at 247.
Jesus, dude.
That was kind of
bad.
I agree that Wonder Woman is way too low.
Woman is that bad though. Wonder Woman is way
Wonder
too
Woman
low.
is way
I
too
think
low.
all three of us agree. It's Tyler that's pushed that movie
Tyler
way
takes that.
down.
We can correct that once he has his child.
Yeah. So like that's kind of like I was like, okay, I've heard about that.
But like I
King of
like this more
Monsters
than
is like a personal favorite.
more than
Go ahead.
Flash or Accountant 2.
Oh yeah. I would probably agree. So I was kind of like battling in there. Then I was like, oh, it's okay. Then I get to like D tier, and there's some duds in there, like the first Mortal Kombat,
Sure.
Renfield, right? Lightyear.
I just looked at
Army of the
Renfield
Dead.
and I was like, how the fuck is that movie in there? I have not thought about that thing at all.
Yeah, Renfield.
The
I've
guy's
never
eating
thought about it.
cockroaches for like
Yeah.
fucking a super soldier serum.
I mean, it's kind of awesome now that you bring that up again. I'm sorry. Maybe that is
Do
right
we,
where it
we
should
need to
be.
rewatch Renfield.
Nicholas Holt, man.
Nick
so yeah, then
Cage as Dracula.
Nicholas Cage is in that too. Yeah. I forgot. Ultimately, I think I'm getting to C tier, and honestly, where I think I'm capping out at, and this is crazy. I saw like the OG Top Gun, and then Independence Day at 191, and Independence Day is kind of one I went back to 90s.
Welcome to Earth.
Yep. Alien joint, a little more action based than this one, but I think that's one that's kind of my cream of the crop. And then there's a few others that I actually do enjoy a lot, and I always say this a lot, man. But Tenet's at 199, and I thoroughly enjoy that movie. And the fact that I have to sit through 2 hours and fucking 40 minutes, let me watch Tenet. Let me watch Tenet, man.
Wait,
Are you looking at the? You're looking at the
Evil Dead Rises at 199.
something.
Oh, I'm looking at sorry,
You
guys,
are looking
I'm-
at the tier list.
I'm
Somehow,
looking at the tier list. I'm not looking at Letterboxd here, boys.
did I not add
my bad.
last week's movies to the? Oh, I might not have added Backrooms, and you're fine. Like I know the year you're talking about. I might not have added Backrooms and Obsession to the.
Yeah, because Tenet's at 201 from what I'm seeing on Letterboxd currently.
Okay.
So, yeah, but I feel you. I feel
I'll
you.
do that right now.
Okay, so yeah, I'm looking at the tier list, but you're saying you're looking at Letterboxd. Tenet's at 201, but just below it is Thunderbolts and then VHS. Correct?
Sure. Yeah.
And then Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
Okay. Honestly,
Wow,
where I'm
Paranormal
going,
Activity at 04. 204 is rough. I hadn't thought about that.
dude. So what's 204 for you? Ready or Not 2?
Paranormal Activity currently, but I'm
Paranormal
also
Activity. Okay, I'm off. Honestly, dude, I think this is gonna sound crazy. I'm throwing it below VHS and Paranormal Activity.
That's not crazy.
That's fine.
Both of those are iconic in the horror field. Like,
Yeah, and then the one above it, like I think I get to Tenet. We're different lane, but like contextually a masterpiece from filmmaking. But it's like if I'm gonna sit down for 2 hours and 40 minutes, I'd rather watch Tenet.
I think
that's just kind of how I feel.
But I think that's same tier. I think that is like it's that craftsman, expert level filmmaker doing something that they want to do right at that point.
Sure.
So I'm with you there. Honestly, I support your choice.
Okay.
204, respectable, for sure. Well, I know I brought this up as a like I did go to the Notebook and I was like, that's so low or whatever. But so I'm probably gonna go right below the Notebook, not just because of that one, but like the Notebook, Frozen, Die Hard, Strangers, Twisters, Halloween 2018, Last Night in Soho, The Menu, Backrooms. I mean, those are movies that I thoroughly enjoy. And this one, like I did enjoy it for the most part, but like those are a bunch of movies like I really enjoy.
Sure.
And so I'm gonna put it below The Notebook and above Hokum, which I'm like kind of met on, at 170. 170 for me. Together, that gives us a current average ranking of 165.3, which means we would put it at 166, below Twisters and above The Strangers.
Yeah, I'm kind of there with you.
I'm not mad about it.
Not bad.
Cool.
And keep in mind, boys, I mean, I know we said Adam's going to be out, but like we are coming up on anniversary time. So I know we've got Adam out, we've got Ty potentially out, obviously with some
Blake,
some
what are we?
ordeals.
What horror movie are we shoving up to the top of
I was
the
like, I don't know,
line?
it might just be a Blake and Nathaniel 2-man on the amending the entropy
There we
list.
go.
Amending the entropy list. And I think we're gonna work some shit out.
High tension now at 30.
Yeah, dude, and I'm putting Bring Her Back in front of a lot of horror movies on here.
God,
Telling that much.
don't do this to me.
That's what happens, man. If you can't join the anniversary yet, brother, you're
That's
getting,
right.
your votes.
What we're
getting
watching?
passed to the public.
What we're watching? I'll make it quick because we're sub. I think 1 hour on the SD card here though.
Oh, okay.
But what we're watching? Watched, as I said earlier, the Masters of the Universe movie.
Yes.
It was fine. Watch it if you want to. Or wait till it comes to streaming. But yeah, it's a perfectly fine movie. I also have been watching Paranoia Agent, which is the series from the guy Satoshi Kon who made Perfect Blue. Incredible. As
Okay.
his other stuff is as well too. Definitely all about the intersection of real life and virtual life, and if someone or if something were to come in and start imitating your virtual life, would people believe you and believe your kind of your real personality and what's going on there? But does it in such a way that like it's a mixture of like characters that are children, characters that are in their 20s, characters that are in their 30s and 40s. It's just wide ranging and so smartly done. Yeah, just incredible stuff. Very, very impressed with everything that this guy's done so far, and I will continue watching that. And with that being said, I'm also watching Modern Family for the first time, a sitcom I never
series?
got to. Yeah, in the
Modern
early
Family.
days.
So worth the watch, dude.
I know
Keep
it
me
was like
posted on
the
your-
biggest.
Keep me posted on your watch through, because
I know it was the biggest
actually
sitcom
so
in the
fucking good.
world for many years, and I just never got to it on like the original run. But it is one of my partner's favorites, so I am watching that as well too. I'm into season 2 at this point, so I'm already pretty decently in, and it is hitting that Scrubs vibe
it's
of
really
like
good, dude.
yeah, if I just want something on the TV for a bit, it's hilarious to have on. We're still in the
It's
like
aged really well too.
Yeah,
I've seen clips and episodes here and there over the years. It has aged pretty well.
it's very funny to watch now because like a certain percentage of the jokes are just Sofia Vergara is the most beautiful woman on the planet,
Yeah.
and we're just going to put her in normal situations and have everyone else react around her, and they're like, oh yes, this is sitcom gold, and like, yeah, fucking course it is. Like, she's beautiful and actually very funny as well too. So like,
Absolutely.
oh wow, who wouldn't want to watch this?
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's also, that's a show that was talked about in one of my it was one of the classes that intersected my poli-sci and film stuff. It was like politics in Hollywood, and my professor talked about that show being definitely, and especially like when it came out, like very helpful in normalizing like a gay couple.
Sure.
And like
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
at the time, it was one of those shows. Obviously you had like Will and Grace and other stuff. but like that was definitely one of the shows, especially in modern times, pun intended. But like that pushed that forward a little bit.
Yeah.
And when you consider gay marriage was what, like 2011, 2012 when that was legalized,
Yep.
somewhere around there, right around the time that show was starting up. Like it was pretty, influential, at least getting that like more culturally acceptable. But they also like play into it in a very tasteful way. Like the gay jokes and stuff are funny. like
Yeah.
like they play into it really well. So yeah, it's a good show, man. I'm happy you're getting into it, and I'm surprised it's the first watch for you because it was one I watched all the time growing up.
Yeah, definitely. In that era of like, well, it's the most popular show, so I won't watch it. Like fuck you guys for trying to tell me, what is the most popular thing right now. Or if everyone says it's good, then I'll wait. But anyways, that's what I've been watching. I will kick it on over to Blake.
I don't think I've caught anything out the ordinary.
It's been
some playoff basketball.
I was gonna say, it's been a big sports week for everyone. I think as the bit of sizzle, we'll probably talk about
absolutely. Playoff basketball, track and field, college baseball.
Ooh, I got to some college baseball.
Ooh, what game you watch?
I watched. Oddly enough, I've watched like Oklahoma, Alabama, at least some of it, and then I've turned on Oklahoma, Georgia the other day.
Okay.
And then there was a couple. There was maybe.
Do they not have the pitch radar in college?
I don't know.
I don't know what that is. Is that where it shows you how fast the pitch is?
Yeah.
They should.
Yeah, I feel like I see it on the screen.
Okay, fair enough.
I could be wrong though.
I still can't believe they let them play with metal bats.
It is crazy, dude.
It's kind of nuts.
It is, yeah. Like there is, in a 4-year university, I'm sorry, there's not much difference between someone who's 21 coming out of that.
Like,
yeah,
these
like
guys are creeping up in age where it's like, yeah, they're staying till they're 23.
And like you got like
that's grown, man.
Dominican kids playing in the pros at 18 with wood bats, and you're like, dude, there is not a huge difference in body.
I'm surprised there are not more injuries.
100%
from the metal bats.
Yeah. It might just partially be because like half the time you're just jacking it out of the park for some reason or something.
Yeah.
So
when you say injuries, you think that's just from the ball coming off the bat?
Yeah, two pitchers,
such higher speed.
Two pitchers or first and third baseman or something like that. Man, like
primarily that kind of stuff.
If you get a comebacker back to the mound.
There's a pitcher in the major leagues that recently took a line drive off the head. I forgot who it was, but I saw that. Yeah,
man, that should just like
you talk about some like scary moments in your life. Every pitcher has one or two. Like I even have one
that
or
happened
two
like
where you're
that
just
happened
like
a week ago, not even.
Yeah, where you're just like I know I will remember that the rest of my life. That moment.
Oh, I remember. It's happened to me 2 or 3 times. It happened to me 2 or 3 times, and I remember each time really that it came right back at you while you're pitching it. You don't forget those moments. They're scary.
Yeah.
So if a grown man had a metal bat and I'm 60 feet away, standing in front of him, no protection whatsoever.
Baseball.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised.
Not a contact sport, but there is danger in there as well too, man.
For sure.
Especially nowadays where people are just getting stronger, faster, bigger every day as well.
For every fucking sport, dude.
Yeah.
Anything else, Blake?
Adam? No, that's it for me, brother. What about you?
Cool. Yeah. Also, most of the sports stuff that we've already talked about. NBA Finals. Stay tuned for pre/post pod banter after the credits here, where we'll get into UFC and some NBA talk. Outside of that, I was able to get to a little bit more Jujutsu Kaisen. Where and we alluded to it last week on the podcast. I think we talked about it pre-pod actually, so maybe it didn't get publicized. But Tyler and I watched some when we were together, and I've watched it a little bit more since then, or like one episode more. I'm getting to the crux of season 2, I think you're caught up.
No, I think I'm mid season 2 as well too, and I'm at the same part where I think I kind of dropped off last time, where everything starts becoming math. And like what a reverse cursed energy does to this or the other, and I kind of lose the thread a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, honestly, there's a point in the show where I've just started to be like, I don't care.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing that I got to as well too.
Yeah, and I think you just kind of have to be like, they're just doing cool shit.
Yeah.
and they kind of have the guy explaining it to you, and I am gonna just assume that the little narrator who explains how everything works will continue to explain how things work as they bring up new stuff or whatever, and I'm just gonna accept that, like, okay, you know what?
Sure.
Rock beats scissors here, and grass type beats fire type, or fire type beats grass type here, like that kind of thing. So I'm just kind of letting that happen. But have you watched the manga? Or sorry, read the manga?
I read the manga, yeah, but it was definitely one where like I read it and was like, well, I hope that makes more sense in the anime version, because it really goes just as deep. And then like at a certain point, a lot of the manga becomes characters who look very similar gesturing, and then having like kind of like gesture motions and like drawn with it, and I'm just like, yes, force and power are being generated here, but I have no idea to what context or anything like that. And okay, I will pay attention. So yeah, I kind of got to that point with the manga, if I'm 100% honest with you. So I'm hoping the anime can kind of clear up some of that, and maybe it makes a little bit more sense when looked at as a full animated bit. I've been reading the Blue Lock manga, actually, which is a show I've talked about. Yes, it's the where they lock all the Japanese soccer players up in a facility, and they all have to strive to be the best. And like, from a sports psych standpoint, it's a fascinating read, because I kind of agree with a lot of what it's saying as well too, which is a little bit, I'd feel like is maybe not initially what you would think, but I kind of I definitely see what they're saying as well too.
Okay.
You know how like anime and manga is very good about getting you into characters' headspace, and it's a lot of like why the hero is doing what he's thinking and that kind of thing. This is very much like
parts about it. How
do you create the elite sportsman psychology? For someone who's not naturally, for someone who's not naturally born with it, and then like have them confront people who are, and that's it's definitely my shit on a lot of that stuff. Anyways,
I hear you. Jujutsu Kaisen, get into the crux of season 2. I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
I will. I'll come back to it for sure.
Yeah. Do you know what episode you're on?
Let's pull it up. I got IMDb open.
Okay. I think I'm on episode like 40 or 41.
Last time when I was watching,
but it's getting good, man.
They were
I love when like the more powerful people start getting.
Yeah, they kind of start showing up. I was back with the boys, so I think it was like episode 7 or 8. I hadn't gotten to the Shibuya incident completely yet, so so I'm still in the front half of it.
Got it. Makes sense. I am so a little beyond you. Okay, well, as you probably know from the manga, gets pretty good pretty soon.
Yeah, that's a point where things start to kick off real
yeah
bit.
Yeah, it's good. And then they're on season 3. I don't know if they're done with it.
Yeah, it looks like, I'm pulling it up here again. It looks like they've got episode 12 done.
Okay, so maybe they're in the middle of it.
Yeah, mid-season.
Maybe I can get it caught up before they're done with those. But yeah, that's most of what I've watched. I haven't watched too much else. I need to get to the Rafa doc on Netflix. I started it, watched like part of the first episode. It seems pretty good, so I'm excited to delve into that a little bit more. Thankfully, I have plenty of time with my travel coming up, where I could probably get into any of that. So yeah, I think that'll do it here, folks. We forgot to mention next week's review. Next week we're going to be talking about the movie The Furious. Some kung fu fighting. Interested to see how this turns out. Hearing a lot of good things. And I always love some good kung fu action. So check that out. Join us for our review next week. Yeah, let's get on up. Thank you all for listening, especially if you made it this far into the episode. Your favorite type of listener. We really do appreciate it. You can do us a favor if you want and share the podcast with a friend, family member, fellow movie enjoyer, or maybe an experiencer, potentially. While you're doing that, you can follow us on Twitter. We are at Banter Row. Our YouTube is just Back Row Banter. Our email, if you want to send us one of those, is backrowbanterpod@gmail.com. You can find myself on Letterboxd at H. That's AYYSH. BlakeHolder, where can the people find you at, my man?
Letterboxd, BlakeHolder, be on there, logs things, rate them out of 5 stars, occasionally drop in a review if it's something I feel like needs a review. PSN, Mr. Watercoolers, Xbox, Mr. Watercoolers. I'm back on Rainbow Six Siege. If anybody plays, let me know. Adam, I got to get you on eventually, my man.
I wish I could say I will, but it won't be anytime in the next 3 weeks.
I know my boy's busy, but whenever you get an opportunity, man, boot it back up, man. Yeah, let's play a game and unfortunately ruin your life again. You're gonna play the first 10 minutes and like, this game fucking blows.
No, dude, I can't hate that game. Well, actually, I can hate that game, but like I
such
deep down, I'll never hate that.
Yeah, it's such a love hate. When you're losing, you're like, this sucks. But then like the moment you like clutch anything, it's like that's why I play this video game.
The thrill, man.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Getting a headshot in that game is so satisfying.
For sure. That's where I'm at. Nathaniel.
You can always find me on Instagram and Letterboxd at @NSKingrick or not Twitter, but Blue Sky, Nathaniel G92, or reverse those. I can't remember which is which. That being said, folks, they're linked. You'll find me. That being said, that was this week's episode of Back Row Banter. We will BRB.
America. Ready for another lesson.
Well, we can talk about it in regards to the White House cage fights over the weekend.
Oh, yeah, did you turn Did you turn
I did.
those fights?
Like somewhat similar to Alex in Clockwork Orange, with my eyes peeled open and forced to watch. But I felt at a certain point I had to bear witness. And
Sure.
Man, deeply, deeply weird. I texted one of my buddies, I think and it might have been you guys. I can't remember. I was texting several people that night, but it was like the octagon was on the lawn. That happened. It was outside. Like legitimately, they talked about this. I mean, they've been talking about this for 2 years or so now, and it started as like a kind of almost a joke of like, we're gonna have fights on the White House lawn, and we were like, sure, that's gonna happen. And then D-Titty was back in office, and all of a sudden, that seems like much more of a possibility.
Goes on the table.
Yeah.
I
And
thought,
then
I thought it didn't get talked about until he got elected.
Oh, maybe I can't remember the timeline is specifically. Like, there's a whole other side of this where like the UFC and Trump's partnership, like that really starts in 2016. There's this whole thing of nowadays they're talking about like, oh, when this started, Trump was one of the only guys that like supported us. That's not true. That just never happened. Like the times when when he first started like offering his Trump Taj Mahal to the UFC for use was when the UFC was not owned by Dana White, or like Dana White was not affiliated. It had a different ownership group completely. And like, he was not there. He was never there. He didn't show up for any of that. In fact, several years later, he backed a different MMA league financially that failed. And then like basically in 2016, they were like, oh, Trump has always been affiliated with the UFC because the UFC had a couple of the events at his casinos back in the day. Anyways, circa 2024 or 2023, 2024, we start thinking about the ideas of having fights on the White House lawn. Trump gets back in the office. again, even then, I didn't think it was going to be actually on the lawn. I thought for sure it would be, over to the side or even across the street or something like that. They actually did it. They put it on the lawn. That was cordoned off to, I think, about like 2,500 individuals. And it was limited to basically, it was like Zuckerberg, Ari Emanuel, who, if people don't know, the character of Ari Gold on the show Entourage is based off of. He came up as an agent and now is like an owner of TKO. His brother is Rahm Emanuel, the former mayor of Chicago.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yes. So this is also why you start getting into the finances of this shit, and it paints another really grim picture because Ari Emanuel owns TKO, is part of the ownership of TKO, which owns WWE and the UFC at this point, and also owns Zuffa Boxing, which they are slowly trying to build into a competitor by way of pushing through governmental ordinances to change the current laws so that boxers will basically not be able to compete or go to other people for money or like compete against themselves. They're basically trying to build the UFC pay structure into boxing. It's not good, not a great thing. Anyways, they are also exclusively on Paramount Plus, which is owned by the Ellisons, which also just bought Warner Brothers and is very much Trump aligned.
Yep.
So all of this is to say, they put the damn things out on the lawn. It's very strange. They don't typically do outside events. I think you can count on one hand the amount of UFC events that have been done outside, and even then, it's been years at that point. They had the Marine Corps band playing people in, which was arguably the coolest part of it, in my opinion, as well, too. Found out, like, live music walk-ins are pretty awesome. That was pretty cool.
Sure.
But they had all the fighters, like, start in the White House and, like, walk out to it. And, like, you were sitting there watching everything, and, like, Trump's there in the front row. Zuckerberg's there. Like, this is just a who's who of the current administration is hanging around. Very strange. And then there's the fights themselves, which again, like no one really talked about the fighters all week, which was very strange. Like it was very much, this is the UFC, this is about Trump, this is, about America, quote unquote.
Yeah. Right.
But I do want to say that like the main event ended up being an incredible story and an incredible fight in general, in which Justin Gaethje, who is an American, he's from Arizona. He is like born of copper miners, has this history, basically enters the UFC in 2016 and is just a violence gremlin. He has a cone of violence in front of him. If you're in there, he is swinging hard, and that's it. He has never had a boring fight, but he has the reputation of basically a controlled brawler and is 37 at this point. He's fighting Ilia Topuria, a Spanish-Georgian destroyer. He has knocked out like 4 of my favorite fighters in the last few years. He's kind of poised to be the next big guy. He is the current champion. Justin is the interim champion. They're fighting to unify the lightweight championship belt. That was the headline at the fight. On the Justin side of things, 2 or 3 years ago, they had UFC 300, which up to that point was their biggest event. He gets knocked out by Max Holloway in the last seconds of the fight after Max points down at the ground. You guys might have seen the clip at some point or something that as well, too. So that was like like I said, maybe 3 years ago now. And since then, he's had a couple good fights since then, but most people are kind of like, he's kind of past it. And that was the thing. He's had the reputation of being the not quite good enough to win, whereas Topuria is the guy that he knocked out Max a couple fights ago, not long ago as well too, on his way up there as well. So they get in there, it's like a foregone conclusion Topuria's going to win, and Justin somehow turns back the clock, decides to start jabbing, which it's always been known he has an excellent jab, he just never uses it, and like basically jabs up Topuria so much that Topuria has to quit on the stool in like the 4th round because he can no longer see. And it is genuinely one of the most impressive performances I've ever seen, like within the context of MMA. Like, as a fan, as someone who watches at this point, it is not possible to ever know what a fighter is thinking. But if you've watched long enough, you know what fighters' tendencies are, and you can watch and you can know and notice when those tendencies change. To see Justin get this title shot 4 or 5 months ago at the beginning of the year and win the interim championship off a pretty mediocre performance where he looked 37, where he looked like he was dragging through it. He basically gritted through his last fight and won on determination. Didn't look great, looked like time was catching up with him. To see him pull this out against a guy that I think he was a 4-1 underdog going into the fight.
Oh, wow.
Was just like it was incredible. Like gonna be in the fight of the year territory, if not one of like the true classics. And it's just a shame that just no one is talking about it because of like everything else that's going on around it as well too. Exactly. And I mean it's kind of fight sports as a whole, you know. At a certain point, the UFC in particular, it crosses and it walks this line between entertainment and sports, closer than maybe any other sport on the planet, where there is genuine, real physical consequences to this. But you have the ability to, like, I want to fight exciting, or I want to fight in a boring way, or in a way that is safe, and that kind of thing. And there is natural drama and storytelling inherent in that. And it just sucks that like all of that has now been kind of walked over by the like narrative of like, well, the UFC wants to cozy up to Trump and the administration, and like they're not promoting this fight from the perspective of it's Justin Gaethje finally getting this crazy shot. They're promoting it from we're putting White House fights on the White House lawn, and that's a bummer. So yeah, that was my rant on UFC White House, and kind of where we're out there. I don't know if all of that made sense. I've been thinking about it a while, but it's just kind of
wanted to bring it up for the pod.
Yeah, it was wild, man. Like three minutes into that fight, I was like, I got to talk about this because it's why you watch the fights. Oh, lost Blake there. It was genuinely one of those things of like, everything about you going into that told you that fight was a foregone conclusion. Everyone who knows a lot about MMA was just like, I don't see this, going well for Gaethje. If anything, he's got a puncher's chance because he has ridiculous power. But to see him come out there in this controlled like setting and just again almost like turn back the clock into a younger man for 4 rounds it was incredible to see.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's one you kind of brought up here in the group chat that you wanted to get a chance to chat about it on pod. So yeah, I mean, I didn't watch it. I don't know if Adam, did you watch any of it?
I don't know.
I just kind of saw the.
I don't know anyone who should. I wouldn't recommend watching it in some ways. It's like at a certain point, being a fan of MMA and combat sports is complicated. Being a fan of the UFC is just not even a thing anymore. It's just poisoned, in some ways. Again, I think I've tried to talk about why. And just in this last bit about like maybe what I enjoy about it from a sporting and an entertainment perspective, but the business side of it is just it's always been trash.
That's valid. Well, I mean, on the other side of sports here, this may be something.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Did you watch the NBA Finals?
The bigger story for sure.
I did.
Okay. Well, what were your thoughts, man? I went in. I was telling you guys on the podcast, I became a Wemby stan this year. Was like the official.
I pretty much have as well.
I'm Wemby standing.
We've talked about this briefly.
Yeah. We've chatted about it a few times. So yeah, went in rooting for them in the playoffs. Great Western Conference Final series. Nonetheless, they played the Knicks, New York Knicks, and go down 4-1. And like basically legitimately blow a double-digit lead in every fucking game they lost. It's like one of those where it's like, man, you talk about losing 4-1. Like if they could have won this shit 4-1. Like, you know what I mean? But just anytime something could go wrong, it went wrong. Anytime. So, Adam, what were kind of your thoughts watching it? Did you watch Game 5 on Saturday?
Most of it.
Yeah,
especially the fourth quarter. Actually, I watched like all the first. I really just missed like the third.
Okay.
Yeah, it was hard to watch as someone rooting for the Spurs. Now, I will say, I was kind of fine with both teams winning because I don't necessarily like the Knicks and I don't like rooting for New York, but like the team itself, in terms of the players and especially the coach, like I'm a big Mike Brown guy.
Okay,
Like,
I agree.
I was a big fan of him when De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis were all together in Sacramento, and was confused by the firing then and whatever. So it was awesome to see him get redemption because I thought he was a great coach back then, and for him to come turn it around with the Knicks.
Yeah, they basically scapegoated him, right? Because like the Kings, like shitty organization.
Yeah,
they were good for like 2 years in a row.
That was when I was like, light the beam. We were all getting behind.
Nathaniel was on here kind of talking shit. Yeah, and they had like a down year.
And just cleaned
I mean, a down like quarter of a season.
And they fired him.
Like,
and
it was like halfway through the year they fired him. It was like he just won Coach of the Year, I think, the year prior.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So it was really bizarre. So I was and Jalen Brunson's a Chicago kid.
Yeah, that's easy for Brunson.
Yeah,
for that.
and all the players on the Knicks, like for the most part, seem like good guys and guys I rooted for before they were on the Knicks. So like, I was fine with that team itself winning. Now New York getting a championship sucks, whatever. But it was cool seeing the celebrations and whatnot. But yeah, watching that as someone rooting for the Spurs was tough.
Terrible, dude.
To see them just blow every single game, it felt like. It was tough because they looked like the better team majority of those games. It just came down to experience, and they lacked a lot of it.
That was going to be my question. Was it just that they're too early?
Yeah, that's 100% what it was. Honestly, like the Spurs,
they're young.
Spurs are incredibly young, if not the youngest team in the NBA, or at least one of them. And they don't really have a lot of vets. Like De'Aaron Fox is kind of your vet. Maybe Harrison Barnes, but like the guys on the floor.
Harrison Barnes almost doesn't play enough.
Yeah, but he didn't
play.
Fox he didn't play at all. De'Aaron Fox is
the vet who's playing, but to your point, he's been to the playoffs twice his entire career.
Yeah,
I agree.
29. So it's hard to call him like a true vet. So yeah, it was just inexperience. Like they cannot close it out in the fourth.
First time
any of those
coach
games.
In the playoffs too, right? If I'm not mistaken.
That was, I mean, yeah, for sure. That I think was also glaring and came across. So I think those two things together, like when you have an inexperienced team and
it's
an
fucking hard,
coach, it's like, mistakes are gonna happen, and they happen in the biggest spots. So it was hard to watch because it was just like you could tell the Spurs were talented. They just lacked the experience to really close a lot of this stuff out. So now I don't know if the Spurs will be back next year, but I think they will be a force to be reckoned with for the next 2 to 3 years.
I agree with that.
Beyond, and Wembanyama he's 22, dude. He's certainly when did LeBron get to his first finals?
So the first one he went to, he lost, and that's when he lost to the Spurs. That's Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, Tim Duncan. That's maybe 07.
He was
06.
It was 07, and he was 22 years old. He got swept,
and he wins his first one with Miami. That's what is that? Maybe 2010, 2011.
That sounds about right.
Something like that. So yeah, to your point, dude. Like that shit is. It's hard, man. You don't see a lot of players go out and win championships immediately, right?
Right. It would have been incredible if they had pulled that out to defeat the Thunder, to go to the chip, and then to pull that out with how young that team was and Wembanyama at the center of it. I mean, it would have been numbers on his legacy to win something that young second year in the league, really.
Yeah. And I mean, like for all intents and purposes, like for sports verbiage, like the Spurs like blew their load beating the Thunder in the semifinals.
Sure.
It felt like it.
That was like, that was their like, okay, we massively overachieved. The Thunder were on the verge of going to back-to-back finals. The Thunder have won like fucking 62 games the last like 3 years in a row.
Sure.
Like something absurd. The Thunder have been the best team throughout basketball the past 3 years for sure. They just happen to have one championship to show for it because we know injuries happen and things of that nature happen in the playoffs. But yeah, the Spurs, like, they blew their load beating the Thunder, right? Where they took them to 7. Yeah. That was like the impossible task. The Thunder are super deep. Definitely the most
I didn't think they would
team
beat the
in
Thunder,
NBA.
to be honest.
I didn't think they would either.
Especially on the road in OKC. There was Game 7 was on the road, right?
Yeah. So like you were hoping as like a Spurs fan and as an NBA fan, you know?
Yeah.
So when they did it, you're like, oh wow. But yeah, I think they blew their load on that. And then as far as the finals, man, it's you guys know sports, dude. They're young.
Yeah.
This is the most games they've ever played. Like once you start factoring in playoff basketball, right? It's like they've now played another 30-something games. Yeah. The wear and tear on your body, your fucking knees are shot, your back shot, ankles are shot. And
you're mentally drained.
Mentally drained,
the Thunder.
For sure. Where the Knicks on the other side, I think the Knicks have been to the Eastern Conference Finals the last like 3 years in a row. So like a little more used to all the travel, playing the extra.
Well, also they swept the Cavs, didn't they? So like they had a week off.
Yeah.
Like they had
and they swept the second round.
Oh, that's right.
It's like all things considered, the Knicks have only lost like 3 playoff games the entire playoffs.
Yeah. That's
so like talk about like playing.
That is championship shit. I mean,
championship's not always the best team.
They earned it, dude.
You got to play your best ball at the right time.
Yeah, they really didn't. Like we can say the Spurs blew it, but it's not like they.
But like to Blake's
like
point,
the Knicks ever were playing bad and just got some good luck going their way. Like the Knicks played.
They've
really
been dominant.
Well.
Yeah.
But it sounds like they kind of got to control the emotional game where like they don't have those highs and lows of like and trying to dig through it where it's just like boom, 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 and then you're in the finals and you just take care of business basically.
Yeah.
Pretty
for
much.
Sure. Where there was a stat I saw at the end of the series where the Knicks won 4-1. And I think they had the lead in the series for combined. It was like 22 minutes.
Yeah.
Or something. Which is like, it just says it in itself, right? A lot of those games, you'd be watching the game and like the Knicks would take a lead in the fourth quarter with like 3 minutes left, and it would be their first time leading the entire game.
And then just like, well, doesn't matter now though. You're gonna ice it
out.
Yeah.
And then watching Game 5, Adam, I knew the game was over when the graphic on the screen showed like at one point the Spurs were up like 14. And there was a graphic that showed on the screen in the fourth quarter of Game 5. So that's the last game on Saturday. There's maybe 3 minutes left, 3 minutes and change left. And the graphic showed that the Knicks were like on a 14-0 run.
Yeah.
And like that was them to tie the game. And then I was like, I think this game's over. Like as soon as they hit the shot to tie the game, it's like, this game's over. The Spurs have yet to show any life this entire series of stopping the bleeding. Like that's so much of sports. It's like
100%.
Combat sports, baseball, hockey, football. You know what I mean? It's like you can throw the punch, but can you take the punch?
Yeah.
Right. And the Spurs were never able to show that like they could take the punch.
Yeah.
Like when it got serious and the Knicks threw the haymaker, right? It's like they couldn't take the shot to the chin. If they got hit in the chin, they were falling down and the game's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was out for a friend's birthday Saturday night watching the game on my phone because this bar he rented out like the private upstairs area, but then there was one TV, but the TV didn't have the game on. So I was watching on my phone, looking like a fucking loser because I got all these people around me. But I'm like, it's the Game 5. Like Knicks are about to win this shit. Like I don't care, honestly.
True sport fan.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they should have had it on the TV, and then the problem solved. Everyone's watching together, but instead, it's just me and look like an idiot. But so I was like looking up and down. I was like trying to pay attention to the game as much as I could, and then I looked down and I saw them coming back, and then looked down, and all of a sudden they tied it, and I was like, well, this probably wraps. Like tied game, 2 minutes left. Like this is where the Knicks are their best, and the Spurs are the worst, especially in the series. And like
you said it 100%. That's when the Knicks are the best, and that's when the Spurs played their worst basketball. Every game was the final 2 minutes.
And Jalen Brunson had finished with what 46 points or something like that. I mean, dude, that's nuts. In a game, in the finals on the road.
As
to
this,
close out the championship. You have almost half of your team's points. Like, holy crap. Yeah, he's awesome. He looked good, dude. He looked so good. He's really
He
good
did,
at
man.
basketball. He's not gonna get like this really does have to start some uncomfortable conversations about where you're putting Jalen Brunson in like best players in the league right now. Kind of
Oh yeah,
categories.
yeah, I agree.
Like he took his team to the finals as a number one option and won. Like, yeah, he has a good supporting, starting rotation, but like, man, that's hard to do. And
Yeah.
he looked good doing it.